members and to the old members that have found their way back to the community. I need you just as much as you need me. In this evening's update, we have a few different topics to go over. And towards the middle to the end of this, or whenever it fits in relevant, I'm going to share what Gregory Mannarino said today because it's only about a 2-minute clip that I'm going to share. But he talks about what Jamie Dimon said. And it's just like it piggybacks off of what JP Morgan and a few others, just like the Fed chairman, have warned that inflation is more out of control than they first thought. It's like for the Fed chairman to say that he's directly involved in causing it by continuing to inflate the monetary system with the printing of US dollars. So when you expand the money supply, you get it's going to correlate into higher inflation. I mean, so I'll play that, but what takes center stage here first, obviously for us, is the fact that if XRP loses 58 cents here at any given time, that's going to lead to a drop down to that 53-cent mark, and that's about a little bit over 10% from here. Now, even if it does drop down, the likelihood is here that it probably won't come down in one shot. This will probably, real quickly, as I just want to go over a quick overview for everybody very quickly because we're going to approach the close here in about 1 hour and 18 minutes. But we're starting to set up. It's either going to be a back test back up here to about 62 cent area. First layer would be right around 61. But if we lose this 58 cent mark, that's going to initiate the rest of this drop. And let me put this back up here so everybody can see who wasn't here yesterday, who haven't been following. But this very well could be the start of a signal here because we broke here and we knew if we came down, the technical target, let's see, it came down a little bit, or it came up here a little bit farther, so it's not, could be a little higher than 53 where it actually came through. Let's see. 53.70. So 53.7 cents is the technical drop right now. However, the pattern is showing itself to its full extent now. And this is where it's one chance. I call these the overextended zone. This is where if it could hold us 58 cents, it could invalidate the continuation down. And that move would swing back up, and then you'd have to get on top here. And then obviously you'd retest because the pattern's showing this right now. That's what it's showing. And for lack of a better term, there's a chance that that could be indicating a smaller version of kind of like a bear flag here. And I say that only because, but this technical drop, and it sucks because we have that inverted head and shoulders, how it looked. But now with how far it's come down, you've all but invalidated that, aside from the fact you didn't come all the way through. So it could be an overzealous attempt to get out the longs. But we know we have that left shoulder, head, right shoulder. We were hoping that this left shoulder, head, and it technically, you could still technically say you've got the inverted head and shoulder. It's just it came down so far now. You really wanted it to go boom, 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 and out. This coming down here, I mean, now it just kind of validated the uptrend, and now it just looks like you're about to have that right shoulder drop. And I don't even know if that's going to hold. I think it would come all the way down, most likely, down to the handle support. And this is on the cup and handle pattern. So it seems like to me that it's trending more in the down. But as long as it doesn't lose 58 cents, you could technically say it's okay. And just looking at where everything's at in the shorter time frames as far as relative strength index, it looks like we could have an attempt back up and try to hit resistance to validate this drop. Just understand we already did it once over here and got rejected. And it's not necessary for it to do it if it wants to continue down. It can do it in one shot here. So just be aware of that. And then another part that shows just the bearish tone here is the fact that this was the old formation that we really needed to get back above the 77-month consolidation. And then we created a flat pivot point resistance at 64.2 cents. And the reason why that's highlighted so heavily is if this got rejected here, this on that head and shoulders would have been the left shoulder, had at the downtrending resistance of a 77-month consolidation. And then this is that shoulder again. So you had left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and that's a problem. Because then you come back and round down. It's like, where do you go down to? Major supports down here are 55 and 53. But we already know if it breaks that handle support, we've got to reset. And in a certain sense, does the reset mean it goes all the way through and you have to go all the way back down and start over? Not necessarily. It means that we got rejected here. This has been going on for 77 months. And if you're new, this is something you're probably not going to see anywhere else, so you might as well just see it now. XRP went to all-time highs in January of 2018 right here. Took 27 months to come down here in March of 2020 before it hit the floor and found its new support. Then it came up a little bit, slammed back down when the lawsuit was announced. And then, bam, after a while, and we got our second hit of support down here when the lawsuit was announced. Well, in 2021, when we made the rally, XRP went from 59 cents to $1.98 in 9 days. So XRP doesn't like to take its time when it's ready to rally. And then that was it. It was the calamity. It was over. We hit our apex. Then it came all the way back down over time. And in 2022, it hit that uptrending support. 2003, it hit that same uptrending support. Get the picture. It hits it a few times in here. Then it comes back up to validate the downtrending resistance and confirm this pattern. It's a descending consolidation, but it confirmed it on that hit at 75 cents. Even if bearish, we had to hit there, and that's what we were saying from 48 cents when it was consolidating, and it was a pretty easy trade to make from there. Now that it got rejected, if these short-term patterns we're looking at fail because the cup and handle is a shorter-term pattern in preparation or if you compare it to this pattern, the longevity of when we hit all-time highs and the consolidation that we've been in, this could suggest a move all the way back down to 30, and in today's terms, 38.7 cents. 38.7 cents. If we lose these short-term formations that we talk about every single day, and then this pattern technically suggests that it can run until the end of December or early January of 2025. So this pattern's coming to an end one way or the other. So there's no debate about the apex point. There's no debate that we're going to have a big move soon. It's just, is it going to be to the upside when it comes to the end of the year if it takes that long? Or is it going to be to the downside? If it's to the upside, you're going to get the biggest W I've ever seen, even if it's to the bottom side, as long as it keeps rounding, because nobody says it can't come down and still replay this around. But if it plays true, this is going to be a massive W reversal from the first signs of all-time highs and then all the consolidation, and not to mention the court case. With this playing through, and if this played true, would be over, and you'd have the clarity finally, and the first cryptocurrency to have any kind of clarity. So this is what could be playing out. If you want to be optimistic, this is how you should be looking at it. And the only way to get there is to get through the short-term cup and handle. And that's what we're trying to do right now. But just understand there's still a lot of pain that could be had, even if this breaks bullish, like I anticipate it to. These break bullish 85% of the time. Technical target, in today's terms, $1.21. I think we should take it out of today's terms. I think we give it a little bit of time, and we say, well, if we hit it by, what's a good day? Mother's Day, around Mother's Day. That's the flower show. It's a good day. So $1.20. So if we break out to around Mother's Day, it would be giving us a signal of $1.20. Now, if you break up, that's not just a confirmation. You still have to break over that 77-month resistance, but your ultimate confirmation, the signal would be to break over that. The confirmation would be to get on top of 93.5 cents, because then you break the handle resistance where it started. Not just a consolidation of the handle, the actual resistance where it first started. And then you're off to the races. You've got nothing to stop you to $1.20. So we're literally that close. That close. So You got to start looking at this for what it is. Don't get too caught up in, the ebb and flows of just the little tiny movements. This is all a tiny movement unless it breaks below 50. Then it becomes something bigger. And it's still a tiny movement when it goes up unless it breaks above 74. So it's just, that's what it is right now. Actually about 72.5, I believe, in today's terms. So that's a good opening introduction to what's going on with XRP. And then with Bitcoin, I have a beautifully broken down for everybody with Bitcoin. And this uptrend failed. We lost the uptrend initially. We know the technical breakdown, if we get a rejection, would be to come all the way back down here to that 60,690. But we've already speculated. If it comes down there, it's not going to hold that. I can almost guarantee that. Because it's got to come down. We had a bigger broadening wedge that led to this breakout. This is how we timed this move beautifully. That broadening wedge, now it has never retested it. Doesn't it look a lot better with this M? Even though it didn't come all the way up here like we thought it could, to 73,768, it came short. Not by much, but like I always say, you can't kill the technical targets because they're only a hypothetical, well, let's see, I don't want to call it a hypothetical because it's more than that. It's what would you call it? It's giving you an estimate. Yeah, there we go. It's an estimate of where it should go. Doesn't always have to go exactly there, but you can see what it did. It created the M like we speculated. When it came down here and held 60,690, I've been saying that I thought with how much it broke up, that this M wasn't the all being M, and I thought it had to come up and actually create a bigger M. We speculated that it would come up here, but I'm not going to kill it for only coming up here. Nor am I going to say it's not. It has to come back up here just to do that, because it doesn't. So, could it still? Sure, it could do this, and then it could come up, and then it would do that. But right now, it's created that M. I think this looks a lot bigger. Now, if you want to not invalidate this as more of a big left shoulder, you would have to bounce from right there. I've seen this a million times play out just like that. The halving, boom. So, like I've been speculating, I think that until this breaks down, that could be one gigantic left shoulder. The only way that gets invalidated is if you lose this broadening wedge resistance that allowed us to know the pattern. Resistance, support, break over, boom, support. Now if it breaks down, we're trying to retest that support. So what I think is probably happening here, and this is if it breaks down, I hope I'm wrong, because I hope it just bounces off of this and goes to 85, just for transparency. Oh, wait a minute, that's way too far over. What the hell am I looking at? Because we're looking somewhere over. So, I mean, you're talking about, let's put this out into the future a little bit. I could see somewhere around 58,700. It's probably going to have to test. Bye, Michaela. Bye, Scarlett. Bye. Bye, Mimi. So I could see this having to retest a little lower than 60,600 even. We've got to see a retest down there. It's got to. It's very rare, if ever, and that you'll see a pattern break out like this and not retest it. And the reason for that is you have to fill gaps. There's not been a single gap filled there since the way up. And if anybody knows gap trading, this is not good. Nothing. There's no retest of any kind right there, which leads me to believe it can do all of this, but until it does something like that. So even a retest all the way down here, honestly, if I'm being honest, screw this, forget this. We already know the broadening wedge, but honestly, if I'm being honest, why not come down to 52,700 and fill every gap in there? You know, if we want to play the gap game, because that's a giant M, and that's what I was waiting for. Now we're in the danger zone. What if it does do something like this and it fakes it and then it comes up after the halving? Or what if it comes like this? Or what if it comes, you know, this is what we've opened up ourselves to now. The only thing that can stop this, honestly, I was waiting earlier to show this because XRP gave it to us earlier. The only way to stop this, Bitcoin finally gave it to us. The only way to stop this is if somehow, some way that becomes this overextended zone. I'm being serious. Like, that's it. because we've got the downtrending resistance. So oh, beautiful. It's beautiful now. We can see what Bitcoin's meant, what it's showing us, what it showed us. It's about freaking time. So that's why I said I think it's going to be worse than what it looks like if Bitcoin were to break down. I'm not going like that because we didn't have a concise hit there. We certainly had one here, though. That... just... I mean, that brings it so close. That is so almost... let's just say this is the rejection area. That brings us right down to the broadening wedge. See, that makes it... whoops. That makes it scary. Because it's almost telegraphing that move to fill that gap. Let's see it even scarier. What am I doing? That's it right there. That's it. That's what it's calling for. Like 57,000. I'll be damned. It is going to come down and retest there, more than likely. That should, unless it breaks out to the top side, which, and you guys are seeing me think in real time as I'm watching the pattern evolve in front of our very eyes. To the top side, that could get us to 79,377. I'm going to delete, no, I'm going to keep that up there for everybody to keep their hope. But that's what we're evolving in. If we break that, if we break this, we know first target 60,690, but the drop we're looking for is about 57,000. 57,000. For all intents and purposes, that's a useless uptrend now. This is what it was trying to show us. Very, very interesting. I love when the patterns evolve and I can show everybody on the fly. So let me get to this intro. Please make sure that like button if you... make sure that like button so YouTube recommends this live. Sorry, I've got a million things going through my head at once. By you hitting that like button, YouTube will recommend this, and that allows newer and older users alike to see me in their feed. So if you're looking through YouTube, my content will show up through your feed, and by hitting the like button, you guarantee that YouTube will let you know. It gives you a better option or a better chance of YouTube showing you that I'm going live or my updates are coming out than if you don't. Plus, it helps me push the content as well in a way that you could not even imagine. So I thank everybody for that, and a special shout out to the members of Tom's Army as you continue to help me do this by showing support for my work. As it is the start of a new month, if you could find it in your hearts, if you have the ability, or if I've helped you in any way, or if you appreciate what I do, to send one YouTube super chat per month, or join Tom's Army and get the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens in month 1, all the way through the 2-year badge. That's the XRP 589 Moon badge, 58.9 cents. Ironically, we hit that today. So I would greatly appreciate that. We also have to go over how crypto traders see over 400 million in liquidations as Bitcoin slides below 67,000. And then before we go as well, so we've got a jam-packed show here. We've got to see Ripple Chief Legal Officer critiques SEC's approach amidst Coinbase ruling. And then we also have to watch what Gregory Mannarino said today about BlackRock and Jamie Dimon and how they're piggybacking now off of how inflation's much worse than it looks. And while I have everybody's attention today, we'll also take a look at gold as it's pushed to an all-time high here. B2 gold is flying now to 270. We've got Newmont up over 37. Mind you, I told everybody to buy Newmont at $33.81 when Peter Schiff gave us the buy. It was one that I was looking at, but when he put his own money in, I said, I'm not waiting. I did it exactly then. Over 4% dividend. B2 gold, I bought at $2.44, gave the same signal, and it's got over 6% dividend. I have 4,200 in there. It's up some now, but I put 4,200 of my own money, 1,048 into Newmont, and then First Majestic, I put out a buy alert around $5. I don't even know what it was, 38 cents, 36 cents, somewhere in the 530s. And I put 1,086. That was for more silver exposure. Pays only a 0.8% dividend, but I was trying to get silver exposure. Silver's up over 26 bucks an ounce today. It's a beautiful sign. As everybody knows, on the SLV, I took out a long around $21.80, some call options for it to hit. I thought it was 28. It's $29 by January of 25. It's to $360 call options when you put it all together. And then I have B2 Gold call options. It's only like $100 worth, but it's for B2 Gold at $3.50 by January of 2025. And I did that when I bought it, $2.40 something cents. So everything's looking pretty good from that side of town. So with that being said, and I'll get the comments after, I know it's probably not going to be as busy today because the market's red. A lot of people lose the due diligence when they're not seeing green. Well, I'm always surprised, by this audience. 126 people here. I'm actually really surprised. That's actually unbelievable. So let me get to the intro and then we'll get started. I like to do this now. I like to go through the markets. I would love to hear everybody's opinion, how I've been changing it up a little bit before I even go through the comments, I go through a quick rundown, and this was a 20-minute one, albeit, but I go through the Bitcoin and the XRP chart, so I'm not interrupted, and that's not on anybody in the audience. That's because I'm easily entertained by my audience members, and I like to talk. But I found it more useful to do it this way because then all the information comes out. There's no BS, yada, yada, yada. So anyhow, with that said, good evening. 7:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So we're feeling good today. If you are in the XRP healthcare realm, remember what I said yesterday, and I put a little bit more, not a lot. It was only about $100 worth. But when it came down to this bottom, we talked about it yesterday. Not a bottom, but when it came down, I was going to buy more once it got 15% roughly. It was right around 3.93, a little bit over 3.97. But once I seen it under $4 because I'm staking it. So every level I'm going to buy it now as it comes back down to here. So just pay attention to this. It's got a much better opportunity today than yesterday, but I think there's even better opportunities to come. So let me read into this very quickly. Light switch Tom, welcome in. Just bought more. Should have waited maybe. That's all perspective. It's all perspective, my friend. If you're buying more now, you're probably going to buy more then as well. So, it's all about perspective. Better now than 75 though, right? Mario Louise, welcome in. Puentes, good evening, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Light Switch Tom, welcome in, my friend, and thanks for being in Tom's Army, along with CJ2 Pilot for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Nick Morales and XRP Stu, welcome in. Joshua Gerardo, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. The Gatman and Puentes, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Mark Caston, good evening, and thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. JW, welcome in. I really appreciate you tuning in. Tom's Army is very strong indeed. And thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. I hope you're having a blessed evening, my friend. Omer, welcome in, and thank you for tuning in. What do we expect from crypto in general? Well, we'll get into some of the stuff, and we'll get into a lot of the stuff. You have to make your own educated and informed opinion, but I'll definitely try to help with some education here this evening. John Hall, welcome in, my brother, and I continue to appreciate seeing that name in here as you've been very loyal recently, and I love it. Christopher, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 2 months with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. He says, let's buy that dip/crash if it gets to 38 cents. Absolutely, that's a beautiful spot at 38. Tanya May, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. I will get into H-Bar tonight as well for you, love. Jose, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon badge. Ironically, it hit 58.9 cents today. He says, watch, recycle, repeat. That's right. Watch the content, recycle to friends and family, and come back and watch the next update. Recycle or live. Repeat. Let's see. Simon B53, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. As sure as the ground I stand on and the rain that's happening outside here in the great state of Michigan. That is, in fact, my face superimposed on there. John Page, welcome in. Kryptonian, welcome in. Thank you for being in Tom's Army for 2 months with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. GP Design and Manage, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Black Ox, White Lotus, Jorge, welcome in. Appreciate you all being tuned in. Make XRP great again, welcome in. Thank you, Tom, for your efforts to make XRP great again. You're welcome, my friend. Devin, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge, and also being one of the most trusted and, let's just say, present mods that we've ever had. And I know Devin, just like me, we've talked a lot about this in the past when we were buying silver and gold when it was cheaper than it is now, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, a couple years ago. Even with this audience, you could have got silver around 17 and gold around 1600. As silver, as he says, is over 26.30 an ounce. It's unbelievable to see it breaking. I think it's at, is it 26.30? 26.16, holy. It's a beautiful sight. Beautiful sight. Just unbelievable, because you can balance things. And look, crypto's down, our precious metals are ripping it. The precious metals are telling the market something is wrong. Gold being at all-time highs. When Alan Greenspan was Fed president or Fed chairman, he didn't come out and openly say that there was a gold standard, but he used to say that he balanced the interest rates. If gold was below 400, policies were too loose. Too tight. If gold was above a certain amount, it was too loose of policy. That was the $400 benchmark. If it was over that, too loose. Like now we're up to 2,200, almost 2,300. Oh, we'll get into that, Daniel. We'll get into XRPH. What do you mean, what are we doing? We're not doing nothing. This is a project that goes until 2028. If you mean, are you going to sell it right now? If you sell it right now, like I've been trying to tell everybody, I'm staking it for 6 months at 20%. I have no intention of letting my quick fingers to buying and selling this, anything other than buying, until it gets to its IPO phase in 2028. Oh, he's saying hell no. He's just asking what's going on with it. Okay, Daniel, see, you're in the loop. I didn't know if you were just watching it for maybe, but you're in the loop. I can tell by your response. Excellent, excellent. It's a good question, though. And good evening to you, my friend. Good evening to you, my friend. Oh, see, I love this guy. I love this guy even more now. 6 and 12 months. Look at that. I was going to do 12 months, but I decided to compound it. So in 6 months, I can get another 20%. But with what I have right now, it's going to be over 9,000. So then I can compound it and do another 20% in 6 months instead of waiting. Although, you know, I can see the benefit both ways. I could be wrong, though. I could be doing the math wrong. Jeffrey, welcome in. Kathy, thank you so much, love. She says, thank you for the content. All we need is the right advice on how to invest in crypto, and we will be set for life. Made $60K from trading last month, and so happy about it. You know, if this was... Kathy, if this was in my update comments, I would think it was a spam comment. But because it's in the live, I hope that that this is not a spam comment. You know, but if it's so funny because I see that kind of a setup. But good. Stouffer, welcome in. My brother and from the north and my Canadian friends. MC Prosperity, Jeffrey, Stouffer, Marie, welcome in. Dodger, thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for over 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Mike Stevenson, welcome in, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for 3 months with the XRP Meteor. Back off now, and Marvin, what's up? Welcome in, everybody. Bob Bertner and For Sure Enterprise, thank you both for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. We're practically caught up here now, so now we can get moving. But I do like to say hi to everybody. And yes, it does get tedious sometimes in the beginning, but hey, I like doing it. Everybody should be recognized. Albert, welcome in, my brother. Adobo, welcome. 55K next week. It's possible for Bitcoin. You just seen the opening. Oh, no, maybe you didn't see the opening. I'll go back over what I talked about in the opening. Puentes, welcome in. And yes, I will try to peep Casper if my voice allows it at the very end. And thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Will Rob as well, thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for 1 month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Infamous, you the man too, brother, and thank you for being in Tom's Army along with Cape Cod Kyle, which is Kyle Kupiak, Both of those don't show it on here, but they're both in Tom's Army, so I'm appreciative of that. I'm also appreciative that it shows green so I can see the members more clearly now. So, let's get into this. Welcome in, Sully. Welcome in. Yes. I will do all TAs as I get going. And I've already done a lot with XRP and Bitcoin. But the one who asked about Bitcoin 55K, what we're speculating is it showed us this formation now. Now there's no reason to further speculate. It's either going to bounce off of these two nice wicks here, because you'll have it in the 4 hour as well. It's either going to bounce off of these wicks as we have a reversal candle and it's going to break back through this resistance at 67.3, or if it breaks through here, we're going to end up having a technical target that brings us down. If it's down here, it's closer to 56, but I'm speculating that if it bounces up, it's probably going to take some time to actually move. So maybe it takes like maybe right here. It gives us time to push across. But 57,000, I think it's going to retest that broadening wedge that it broke out from. I think it's got eyes for that broadening wedge. And if it comes all the way down, man, oh man, it's starting to get sloppy on this chart though. Let's get rid of some of these. I'm getting rid of some of these. Get rid of this. No, I can't get rid of that because I wanted to keep that. I'm going to get rid of the 52 because that's underneath. I don't want it to... but that circle is where a gap should be filled. But like this was measured out. This was measured out. So I need to have this back here. This was measured out. So, and then if it breaks up, it would be 79,377 if this, but there's been nothing filling that gap right there. So basically Bitcoin, if you're a gap hunter, it went up. There's never been a back test to back test this area. There hasn't been. It's, you went up, but you never back tested it. So basically, it should have come back and back tested this rise or the broadening wedge support. Just by overextending it, it's still going to have to come back and likely fill this gap. And then if it's going to go out, it's going to do it like that. That was our speculation of the M being created. And it did it. The only difference is it didn't come all the way up to that target of 73,700. But it nonetheless, it still created that same friggin' formation. So we'll have to see here. We'll have to see here exactly if it's going to come down there and gap hunt and retest like it should that broadening wedge resistance as support here. What's going to hold you from doing that is if you could break up out of this current formation. If not, it's going to pull that down. But that's about all the time I want to spend on Bitcoin. With XRP, and for everybody who's requesting things, be aware of my time and be aware of the work I put in. If you do appreciate something, join Tom's Army. I see a lot of people in it. Or send one YouTube super chat per month. Or just hit that like button and share this content on social media. That's just as valuable as a financial contribution. It's just as important as you sharing this and liking it so that others can find the content. Believe it or not, that's the honest to God truth. So, XRP here, we're sitting at a very critical point too because this is a breach formation that started in March. And again, if we can't get above that 60.8 area, this isn't good. This isn't the best thing that could happen for XRP if it breaks down. This is what I'm going to say. But I think those are a little overzealous. I won't put those up yet. I want everybody to be like, oh my God, Tom. I want you to just focus on this level. That 497, because that's the bottom of the handle right now. We're not going to focus below that. We're just going to focus on reality. That's more than likely what we'd be facing. So instead of scaring ourselves with farther, that's what we'd be looking at on a breakdown. And as you can see, for anybody new, my hair is so long. And the reason for that is, and it'll put things in perspective. I said I wouldn't cut my hair back in July of last year until XRP hit $1. And my goatee, I would just keep growing. The only thing I would let Julie do is round it if needed. But my hair is really long. It hasn't hit $1 in a very long time. In a very long time. But I like the way it looks, I just turned 40 in December. So to have hair like this, I'm very lucky. So I acknowledge, I'll rep it. I'll rep it. Let's see. I appreciate the compliment though, saying I look cool. But you see right here how easy it is to see this head and shoulders pattern. As we have the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder is already formed. You got the resistance there. If this comes down, it would make sense to come here. It would absolutely make sense. Hey, I'm doing my live. I'll call you after. All right, Vince. Bye. That was old Vincenzo. He called me. He's in Illinois right now. But I'll call him after the live because I've been wanting to talk to him. So I'll call my brother back after the live. So anyhow, that's the problem here. This is what we're looking at. We're really looking at these kind of formations. You know, that's how Sippy started. It sure did. It sure did. Oh, you know what else is nice? I was doing some math, and I started going back and lifting weights back in 2 weeks before the Halloween in 2022. I had a 60-day period back in July and August of 23 when I broke some fingers, my forearm, my hand, and I missed some days there, but I'm on 300. Today was my 326th workout. So I felt really good about that. Muscle is just, it's pretty inspirational when I see now everything that's going on. So it's pretty nice to see I'm in the best shape I've been in, and I don't even know, probably ever. So it's nice to see. So we've gone through all of this, mind, body, and soul, right? The mind, body, and soul. And then obviously, let's not forget to give thanks to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ here today. But as we continue moving forward, that's what I'm watching with XRP. I've shown you every little interpretation I can give you on my charts. Even from, what is going on? Something's missing. I see what happened here. I see what happened here. I was going to say, I'm trying to show you one more with the handle, but it got thrown down here as, or it just deleted. Yep, it got thrown down here. So the last thing I wanted to show, just so everybody, if you weren't here in the beginning, you can see this handle support. And it is, this is where we're at. This is the short term. This is the best way I can put it. Even this, it's not even necessary. You could say it's necessary, but it's starting to make sense now. Like that 53 is a target. And if it comes up, it probably would consolidate a little bit. If it breaks down, you're looking more towards that 50 cents if 53 gets lost. And then obviously on a breakup, it can come up, still up to the top. And it looks like it would have to come a little bit farther. But the bottom line is you've got that big handle resistance on top. This is the mid-tier resistance. And if we actually measure this out for the entirety of the size of this, I can almost guarantee it's going to get you down to 50 cents. It's that 53 cents. Yeah, although it is a support, we're looking at that. I'm telling you right now, if this breaks down, I have very little faith that 53 cents is going to hold. Very little faith. It's just, it's almost too telegraphed for this. Like this is, so if I was guessing, and if this breaks down, resistance, support, this would be a mid-tier hit, and then it would come through. So let's see, support, resistance, or did it go resistance, support, whichever, support. If it went like this a little bit and then dropped, that's how I could see it happening. Or maybe it's saying the apex, whoops, it's saying that this is like this for a reason, comes through and then it dives because it couldn't garner enough tension to come back up. What would that look like over here? I mean, God, it almost looks too perfect. Like this is what it wants to do. You know, and when I start watching things, so I'm going to go to X marks the spot. I mean, look at that. That's the handle still, and it's, but what I'm saying is look how it hits this support area right here at 50 cents, that handle support. Something's lining up here. Oh, some, if you're asking about XRP, how to buy it, well, in the USA, in the video description below and our pinned comments, it's BITUNIX that I've been using a lot more lately. When I seen Uphold brought up. Right now, if you buy $1,000 worth of XRP on Uphold, you get 51 less than if you buy $1,000 worth right now on BITUNIX. which is pretty crazy. That's on the buy and sell. That's like a 5.4% fee right now, which is pretty high, or 5.1%. But you don't need a VPN in the USA, and it's got the lowest leverage and spot trading fees in the USA. It's up there in the high times of volatility, so take advantage of that. I continue to point to that because I've got $4,000 on it right now, and I'm looking for something here. And I need it to be available in high times of volatility. And if I do end up doing something, I always let everybody know. But uphold is always down when I'm trying to do something. I know how Kraken is. I know how Binance is. I know how Coinbase is, and all the normal characters, how they go down in the high times of volatility. If you're on KuCoin, get your shit off of there. I don't know what you're waiting for. They're in the anti-money laundering investigation that I brought to the front a couple years ago. That's finally starting to be taken on seriously by the Fed. But with XRP, we also have the death cross here in the 4-hourly. That's very bearish. If you're waiting for the confirmation to go 50 through the 200, it's on deck. It's on deck here. If we get a rejection here, I really think it's going to reverse back up for a couple hours after 8 o'clock. And we'll probably get 608. If I was one to take a long, this is where I would take a long for the short-term rejection even. You know, if you were going to do a short-term swing trade with the stop loss, obviously, under 58 cents. If it breaks under this lowest wick, so put a stop loss at 577, this could be an opportunity to go long here. I didn't say this. I'm not a leverage trader. But if you were going to take a leverage trade here with the massive, you've already heard 95% of XRP longs were liquidated today. I read it earlier in today's live. So with that information being said, that means the majority of XRP leverage trades at the moment are going short, which means everybody's waiting for the calamity of 53 or 50, which means now's the time to go long on a swing trade with the stop loss in case it breaks through at 58. You know what? Fuck it. Right now, because I want to measure the movement, because I know somebody's going to take it because I said something. So where's our price right now? 58.8 cents. This is the candle right now, and it's hinting that if you're going to make a gamble here, and I try to help the audience the best I can, and I said the hell with it because I'm going to tell you the parameters, it's at 58.8. If you hold this for longer than 577, you shouldn't be trading this at all. But if you're looking to take a gamble, this is where it would happen. So 18.7% would be the drop. So knowing that, I'm going to take out a $100 trade live. A $100 trade, and it's not going to be for reasons you think. This is going to cost me if it comes down, and all I'm going to do is ride it to the resistance of either 607 or if it makes the overzealous run to the 200-day. That's all I'm looking for is a retest of that spot. And if it breaks down, I'm going to tell everybody the parameter in case it doesn't do it. It's going to be $100 trade. It's not going to have the whole $100, and I'm going to show you the finesse you can use by doing this in the market. So I'm going to do $100. And this isn't financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. In fact, this will probably blow up in our faces. But I'm going to do $100 on the nose. Nope. Yep. 102.22. So the Angels have our back. 222 after all. So a $102.22 trade. I'm going to go on. I'm going to go to XRP on BITUNIX. And right now the price, if I do it on market buy, is around 58.79 cents. I am going to do a 50x. No, I'm not, because it won't have room. It would have 1 point. Let me see this. I got to be very accurate here. I want it to come down to 577 before it kicks me out. That's 18.9%. So that's going to limit what I can do here. So 30x, let's see. My liquidation on it, I still got more room than that. I'm going to do a special. I'm going to do the standard number here for myself. 33x. That would put the liquidation at 573. So a $102 $1.22 trade. Confirm at 58.77 cents. It just opened. And it's not because I made a money. So now I'm going to go down because the house, and this is to try to teach everybody something. If it goes bad, and I don't care if it goes good or bad, because I'm trying to teach you something with leverage trading right now. So I put $102.22 at risk, right? So you would expect it to have to come down because I did a 33x trade, 3.33% for me to get liquidated. That's not the case, ladies and gentlemen. Watch when I take out a stop loss. So the only reason I'm going to take it out is because I don't want them taking my money that I have to the side. So let's say this goes wrong, and this is a perfect example of sometimes I'm willing to lose money, and it could turn positive for me. Let's not kid ourselves. This could turn into a few hundred quick dollars. But if it does turn out to be a loss, there's a reason why. Because somebody needs to say this to you guys if you're leverage trading. So if my stop loss liquidation's at 57.34, I just identified I want to do 57.7 cents. Well, let me do this real quick. If you don't put a stop loss out, you get liquidated there. All $102 at 5734. If you identify where you want it, you put it down below, and then why give them it all down? Sure, you could keep it open, but once it busts that, it's over to me anyhow. I'm not giving them the rest of the money that's in that. So most people are like, well, I'm risking, and I'm just going to lose that anyhow. Well, right now, by putting it at 577, it counts my downside at $58.40, which I wouldn't do this every day. But it's showing a scenario where people would do this. It's showing a scenario on the long leg doji where the opportunity's there. And this is for educational and informative purposes only. So that's what I want you to do. Isn't it funny how David's commenting when what do I always say? Don't trade on leverage. David, if you want to gaslight me, go for it. I'm not telling you to trade on leverage. I don't even support trading on leverage. I'm trying to show a point here, sir. So if you don't understand what you're saying, I suggest you shut the fuck up. No offense. It's time to shut it. Because this is where you can confuse people. I 100% push spot trading. This is for everybody I know in this situation on a long leg doji is going to take a shot. And if you're going to take a shot, you do it when it liquidates 95% of the longs. Because now it's overzealous to the short side. And now everybody's going to see when it goes short, when they go short here, it just goes up. Why? So what I was showing was how to do something like this. And also the risk of what happens if you do it at a margin. So honestly, sometimes I speak a little more bold because it needs to be said. So yeah, David, you would be nuts to trade on margin. That's the point. Listen a little bit instead of being overzealous. If you would have just listened the entirety of the whole time I was talking about that position, you would have known what I was trying to do. David, how am I killing? Oh, shut the fuck up. I'm not even going to acknowledge this guy. No. I'm not going to acknowledge you now, David. Because if anybody who's watching knows it's the complete opposite. We're up like 10 grand in our portfolio this year. Not to mention our precious metals is up more than you probably made this entire year. No offense. Our commodity, I mean, I don't understand the point of that. So I understand what it is. It's like, oh, let's get them riled up. Let's make them look like a jackass. You know, the results speak for themselves. So moving on, I'm going to read through some of these. You know what? No. We're going to watch Gregory Mannarino. We're going to watch Gregory Mannarino. I'm not going to entertain it at all. We're going to watch this. I want you to hear what Jamie Dimon's saying, and then we're going to get into some more reading.
2024. Let's start off with this. So, wow. BlackRock, Larry Fink. So let's talk more about these creatures. So BlackRock, Larry Fink joins Jamie Dimon and Jerome Powell in sounding the alarm on snowballing national debt. The situation is more urgent than I can ever remember. All right, this is being covered here. But
yeah, pay attention to this because this is, you tell me what you think of this. You tell me what you think of this when inflation goes.
Fortune magazine. Let me go on. The situation is more urgent than I can ever remember, Fink wrote in his annual letter to investors on Tuesday. The national debt is rising at a rate of $1 trillion roughly every 100 days, which itself is putting upward pressure on consumer prices. Well, this is exactly true here. But let's look at these stream of characters that are warning us. I mean, BlackRock, Larry Fink, Jamie Dimon, and Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell, this is the creature number one that is issuing this debt to us all, destroying all of us. And you know that this mechanism is out of control. But what are we really talking about? Look, how do I put this another way? We are in a full-blown debt crisis, which means we are in a full-blown liquidity crisis, something you and I have been talking about for 10 freaking years here, people. You can't make this stuff up. Why are we hearing this now? Because, again, we have hit that critical mass. We're at a point of no return here. And in case you don't know, this debt issue, this hyper-ballooning global debt, which is, I've said this in these exact words for 10 years. It's a monster. It's a financial Frankenstein. And it's the greatest threat to human life on the planet. Forget about war. Forget about nuclear war. This is what it's all about, because when this debt hyper bubble bursts, there is going to be pandemonium in the street around the world. And if you think this is being engineered by accident, no, this is deliberate. This is a deliberate act to bring us all to our knees and beg for a new system. So don't listen to Greg Manarino anymore, who's been telling you this for 10 years or more now. Now you can listen to BlackRock, Larry Fink, Jamie Dimon, and Jerome Powell sounding the alarm on snowballing debt. The situation is more urgent than I can ever remember. This is
exactly why I wanted to share this, because I've been talking about this for so long, and now they're capitulating into a new system. They want inflation to go out of control. The monkey in the room, or the wrench, whatever you want to call it, what they're not telling you is this is by design. The central banks are doing this by design. This isn't by accident. This isn't by accident. This is something deeper. Gold and silver is telling you the truth. And again, you guys are going to have to sit through more after I get done reading if you're going to sit here, because I've got a lot of stuff to share. Peter Schiff, it fits perfectly into what you're hearing right here in this little segment. He talks about how gold is telling you inflation's worse than what they're telling you. It's such a correlation. I can't even describe the amount of information you can find here. David, you could take notes, and you too could advance. Instead of just trolling your life away, you could start to make a real difference in your financial independence, to where you can make trolling a career and you won't have to do it from your office cubicle. It would be a lot better to be doing it from your own basement or your own living room, by understanding the ins and outs of investing and buying at the appropriate times, and understanding what it means with what's going on with inflation and the expansion of the money supply, and understanding what it means to diversify.
Unbelievable in my view. But they have to do this. These kind of things must warn before the inevitable. And when I say meltdown, people, this is the understatement of the century, where this is eventually going to go. A complete locking up of the system. Look, here's a weird, very strange paradox. Although the world appears to be awash in debt, and that debt is skyrocketing at its fastest pace we've ever seen, there's not enough of it. There's not enough of it to keep the system afloat. That's why you're getting this.
Speaking of the man of the hour back there, see him? Begging for more money. It's ironic in that commercial he says, I'm not gonna, I don't know, Trump is always doing the fight, and then it's politics, guys. Central bank is the point. The central banks run the world, not these dum-dums.
Why we're seeing this stuff like this, people, you can't make this stuff up if you try to, but, this is a dose of reality. Let's talk a little further here, my European friends. Look, I hear from you all the time. Believe me, I listen to you. Hey, Greg, you think things are bad where you are? You should come over here. So This is Reuters. Eurozone factory downturn deepened in March. Eurozone manufacturing activity took a further turn for the worse in March, contracting at a steeper pace than anyone thought.
So I got through what I wanted. If you want to watch Gregory Mannarino, watch him here on YouTube. He's got a few 100,000 subscribers. He should have way more. The guy should have way more. But now I want to go into this. So crypto traders see over 400 million in liquidations as Bitcoin slides below 67,000. And honestly, there's not much that I want to read from that except the fact that that's what happened. Like, I'm not going to get into it. That's the big story. I'm not going to pay for anything, or I'm not going to log in. I just want you to see the headline so that you know it's not just XRP Future Millionaire saying this. That's a narrative that's being talked about. And, but this is what I actually wanted to read. Ripple chief legal officer critiques SEC's approach amidst Coinbase ruling. So Ripple CLO criticizes SEC's complex ecosystem. And if you're going to relax, now would be the time to relax with me, as I don't smoke cigarettes. Ripple CLO criticizes SEC's complex ecosystem definition affecting crypto's legal status. Despite legal challenges, XRP maintains stability with the potential for recovery. Judicial interpretations vary in crypto law, impacting regulatory clarity. In a recent statement, Ripple's chief legal officer, Stuart Alderodi, scrutinized the definitions of a crypto ecosystem as outlined in a March 27th court ruling concerning Coinbase. The ruling made by Judge Catherine Falia differentiated the term ecosystem to describe coordinated enterprises by issuers of 13 crypto assets. This distinction determined their status as securities under federal law. Alderodi criticizes this approach, arguing that the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) overly complicates the concept. He suggests that acquiring a token always implies investment in an ecosystem, and irrespective of the acquisition's context. The commentary follows a notable decision on March 27th, where Judge Falia partially accepted Coinbase's motion to dismiss MTD-specific charges, excluding the allegation of Coinbase operating an unregistered securities exchange. This legal scrutiny... Where the heck did I put this? This legal scrutiny emerges amidst the broader regulatory debate over cryptocurrency and its classification under securities laws. On the same accord, Alderodi referenced a separate case, the SEC versus Ripple, to emphasize differing judicial interpretations. He lauded Judge Annalisa Torres for her discernment in the Ripple case, contrasting her understanding of the evidentiary record with the SEC's broad application of the Howey test to crypto assets. Stuart Alderodi said, if this sounds like legal gibberish, it is, according to the SEC, whenever you acquire a token, you are always investing in an amorphous ecosystem, regardless of why, how, or where you acquired it. Once Judge Torres in the Ripple case, Ivy League educated with Bronx Street sense, looked at the full evidentiary record, she understood the SEC had strayed far from Howey, where a promoter made promises directly to investors about a clearly defined enterprise. According to Alderodi, Torres' judgment outscored the SEC's deviation from established securities law, particularly in the case where direct promises to investors by promoters are absent. Despite these legal entanglements, Ripple's cryptocurrency has maintained a stable trading range between 56.8 and 66.2 cents. Analysts observed a bearish trend supported by technical indicators such as the Awesome Oscillator and the Relative Strength Index, both signaling a potential downturn. However, a recovery trajectory for XRP was proposed, contingent on overcoming significant resistance levels. Specifically, the aim is for a rebound from the 53.4 support level to challenge the 66.24 resistance. We're very familiar with that support level as well. Very familiar. Now I'm going to transfer real quick. I want to look at Casper for somebody who kept bringing it up in the audience. Just trying to remember which one I had. I want to say maybe this one. Yep, I was going to say please. Because now Casper, since the last time we looked at it, it came right to our support, remember? For anybody who's been watching here during the lives, This is what we were talking about with Casper, and then if it drops down, you could have a big drop here. Let me just so everybody thinks that that's not the only thing that can happen. Or you can have a break up to this range, but as we can see, Casper has not deviated from the plan at all. It has not deviated from the plan at all. I remember the last time we talked about it, it was up there, and we were speculating that it would come all the way back down to support. It's been a minute since I talked about it, because we did the support, resistance, support, and it was right here. It just got rejected, and I said, well, if it plays true, we should be coming down here for the next possible buy. If it breaks down, it comes down here. If not, and it broke out, it would come up here. And look, it came all the way down. So it was actually, it's actually a fucking beautiful formation recognition here that we made in the audience. Because instead of everybody buying there, if they were going to, look at, they got a 35% discount on the way back down. Oh yeah, it's a beautiful price right now. It's a beautiful price. I mean, it's been on a nice downturn here, but eventually it's gonna make its move. If it did break down here to 0.007, I'd probably buy 100,000, easy. If it broke down there, just for transparency, I'd buy 100,000 tokens if it was down there. Oh God, I hope it goes down there, because we all know what Casper is in the future. So at least I was able to look at Casper, because we're winding down here. Voice is tired. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. However, even if we don't get donations or, people joining Tom's Army during the lives, it's still important to do them. Your likes are like a donation to me. So that is important. That is important. So please make sure to hit that like button if you are watching this live. That will do so much for me. XRPH 4079 down 13%. The technical drop target would be down to here. I think that's right, actually. I think that's right. No, I think that's too big. I mean, maybe a little bit, but that's actually pretty close. Okay, so it's basically down to the 200-day. So, a technical drop target here for XRP Healthcare is down to about that 3-1 level. If we look at it from a bigger chart than just MEXC, this is what I was saying. If it came down, it would be that's a technical move from way down here. So we're anticipating a move down here more than likely if it breaks down. And since it did break down, at least short term, I mean, it's looking like a come down to like the 3-1 level. This, we can redo that eventually, but I think it's going to come down here. Somewhere between 2.8 and 3.2 is where it seems like it wants to come down. If I'm guessing, 2.8 to 3.2 would be a great area. So I'm looking at that area to continue expanding. As it comes down, I'll continue to expand. I know when I was at 35,000 tokens, I was at about a 2.6 average. Now I'm at 45,000 tokens, and those have come anywhere between 2.8 and 3.5. So it's probably gone up a little bit, and I anticipate buying for some time here. I anticipate buying for some time, and I'm staking, like I said, for 20%. So the cheaper, the better. And, let's face it, this is something that's more than just speculation. We've got the XRP wallet that you can use. You can have the XRP pharmacy card. I don't have insurance because I'm self-employed. I don't have insurance, or I don't have any kind of medical pharmacy cards. Not that I go to the doctor, use medical care, like to get drugs or anything like that from the pharmacy. I don't take anything. So I think that just speaks of other things, but we won't get into that. Don't want to get banned, but that's all up and running through the XRP wallet. It's on. If you want to test it out, type XRP Healthcare or just XRPH in the Android store, the Google Play Store, I should say, or the App Store, and you can see just how far it's come already. It's incredible. And I've showed the roadmap for it, which, it's a pretty crazy thing when you start to just see how involved this is. I have a PDF. I don't know if I'm just going to be able to do it like this. Yeah, okay, this is perfect. So for anybody just speculating on this, oh, thank you so much. I did see a donation. See, you did not start it. We We did not have a donation-less streak. Look at that. A $4.99 donation. I'll be damned. So this is going forward into 25. So Q1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is what we're trying to do in 24. So USD 3 million raised to fund M&A, so market analysis. I appreciate your consistency, Tom. Thank you so much for that, Brandon, and thank you for the $4.99 donation. So the first batch of already profitable medical centers purchased. All acquisitions will be branded XRP Healthcare. Existing teams kept in place, yada, yada, yada. Upgrading of acquired business services and equipment, NASA-designed ventilators installed in medical centers. Think of what they're going for here in hospitals as they're acquired. Integration of XRPH token staking into wallet. XRPH token used to pay for services and medication and growing ecosystem. So look, they already checked one off the box right there. Integration of XRPH token staking into wallet. Check, we're doing it now. That just happened this quarter. So if you're doing it, you're one of the first to do it. Global marketing of XRPH wallet. Check. International healthcare partnerships. Check. Marketing and promotion of M&A in East Africa super fund raised. The marketing in Africa was a check. And now in 25 is where it gets interesting. In 26 especially, as we go forward, like if you see how early we are and you see why I'm not ever consider selling it, I'm going to stake it for years now. But I'm going to keep doing it at 6 months so I can keep compounding the staking. How much I get. Right now I get 25.9 a day with my 45,000 plus that I have staked at 6 months for 20%. And every single one you do, it breaks it down into each staking one. So they're all staked at different times even. It's awesome. This is going to be my ticket. This is going to be a lot of your tickets in the XRP ecosystem to that XRP millionaire status. Yes, XRP is going to help us, but it comes in the ecosystem is what I've been trying to explain as well. There's no shame in doing it through the ecosystem that matters. Ripple doesn't own this, by the way, so if you're afraid of the lawsuit, no correlation. A lot of people have been putting rumors on YouTube, TikTok, Telegram, or not Telegram, on Twitter or X now, and they've been saying Ripple has a stake in this. They don't. This is independent, which is what I love. But it's on the ledger. So, Q1, 2, 3, 4 of 2025, streamline merger and acquisitions, operations, achieve cost saving and efficiency, continued upgrading of building services, yada, yada, yada. And you can read through that. And we get all the way down here where I get excited. Oh, where I get excited, ladies and gentlemen. For anybody who knows about early projects, this is the equivalent of buying a pre-IPO right now. That's how early you are. This is the literal infant stages. And for anybody who knows who buys pre-IPO, your goal is to sell before they sell it to somebody else who buys and rebrands it. You want all that to take place as an early investor because you get maximum profitability there. It's over. If they do that, you've made so much money. You can't even comprehend. And look where this is at by 26. Increase the value of our portfolio by implementation of growth strategies. Expand into new markets and territories by diversifying. Oh, wait till we get to 27. Diversifying the XRP healthcare portfolio. I think I missed somewhere where it's pretty nice. Oh, right here. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. In 25, listen to this. Streamline merger and acquisitions. Continued upgrading of building services and equipment of acquired healthcare facilities. So they're continuing to acquire facilities. Continue to identify potential investment targets and conduct due diligence. More international healthcare partnerships. Continued upgrade and development of the XRPH wallet. Promotion and marketing of market and acquisitions in Africa as a whole. So increase the, and this is 26, increase the value of the portfolio. Thank you so much for the $20 donation. MC Prosperity, wow. He says, thanks, Fam, for the donation, or the, I'll read what that says in just a sec. Increase the value of our portfolio by implementation of growth strategies. Expand into new markets and territories by diversifying in the XP healthcare portfolio. Grow revenue and profitability of the company. XRPH token accepted for payment and services rendered at all XRP healthcare pharmacies, in medical centers and hospitals. So listen to that. They want XRPH token by 26. By the end of, are you hearing this? By the end of 2026, they want the the XRP healthcare token accepted for payment in services rendered at all XRP healthcare pharmacies, medical centers, and hospitals. Do you know what that would do to the price of this? And MC Prosperity says, thanks, Tom, for your devotion and enduring patience. Keep up the great work. You are welcome. It doesn't seem like it, but I have incredibly great patience. Sometimes I get frustrated, but I have an unbelievable amount. Well, if I said yes on the air, that would open me up to some certain liabilities. But you can ask the general audience. But listen to 2027. By the end of 2027, listen to what their goal is in 27 for everybody who's early right now. And I don't know if anybody understands what this means. Let me know in the comments if you realize what this means, the importance of this. Preparation begins to prepare XRP Healthcare for IPO or acquisitions by a larger conglomerate. Work closely with our legal advisors and investment bankers to optimize exit strategy and valuation, execute exit plan, and achieve the best outcome for investors, shareholders, and token holders. This is, I mean, if they really, if it's preparing for an IPO or an acquisition by a larger conglomerate, you're talking about pre-IPO discussion. Pepe is the best. You know, some people can say what they want. That's right. XRP Healthcare is built on the XRP ledger, the best part. When I read through the white papers, it talks specifically on why they chose, and a big part of it was because of the 1,500 transactions per second. Absolutely, I do. I have 45,000 plus staked right now at 20% on their very wallet. I also have a pharmacy card for the first time in many years where I can get an 80% discount, which I don't take prescription pills, but if I did, it's right on there now with the wallet. So, and these are some of the partners, as you can see in front of you. And one last thing I want to share before I leave, and I hope that gives you an understanding of why I'm so happy about this. Yes, at 4 cents, it's a lot different than when we first started buying it. I get that, even though it's just been a short amount of time. And the reason why I finally showed it to everybody, as we know, and the reason I finally started buying is because finally in the monthly, it showed a reversal candle, and now it just looks crazy. Remember, when I first started showing it, it was down here at about 229, and it showed the long leg doji in the monthly. And then it rocketed, and now it's putting in a engulfing candle. So we bought it at, if you want to talk about the 100% nailed, you can't buy it any better than we did. When I tell people to buy something or start to acquire it, it's for a reason. I don't tell them to buy it just because I'm guessing. When somebody asks the value of technical analysis, there's your value. If it breaks down, it breaks down. But right now, this is suggesting otherwise. Something bigger looks to be starting here. So it's pretty incredible what's going on. And then if you stick around for a couple more minutes, you can listen to what Peter Schiff said, as I believe everybody should have Peter Schiff and Mike Maloney and Jordan Peterson and Gregory Mannarino should be following them. But I have this set for the exact moment.
Hit that, so it has to pretend. But actions speak louder.
My email is strutrugali@gmail.com. strutrugali@gmail.com. That's strutrugali@gmail.com. I came up with that after I started this station on the fly randomly. When somebody asked me my email address, I randomly said strutrugali@gmail.com. And after I was done with my live, I created that email, and it's forever stood in infamy. So let's listen to this for a split second.
On the website, you could sign up. And there's also a premium newsletter, Shift Sovereign Premium, that you can sign up for. But anyway, also after I left Mexico City. We spent 4 nights there. We went to a dude ranch because I had my kids because we were there in the desert. If you like to ride horses, they have beautiful horses. I mean, very well maintained horse from all around the world who found out about this, place in Mexico to ride horses, because you don't usually get the opportunity to just take these horses out into these wide open plains and just canter, gallop. I mean, a lot of times you're stuck on a trail and you're kind of, nose to tail in a line, and you really don't do anything. But here you really had a chance to ride and take in some magnificent scenery. So we'll be going back, I think, but I would definitely encourage people. But what's even more rare is that there was no news. It's not like something happened. Nobody dropped a bomb anywhere, right? It just went up. And that was on top of the near $40 rise. Family generally slept till around 7, right? Money to buy these Bitcoin ETFs. So Anthony Pompliano comes on. Gold's has just hit a record high. He's interviewed for 10 minutes. They don't mention gold once. They're only talking about his Bitcoin. And in fact, the funny thing that Anthony said, he's doing the interview, and he claimed that Bitcoin doesn't have a marketing department, that the only thing that advertises Bitcoin is its price and its returns. And so, the price going up is really what's driving everything, because there's nobody doing any marketing. And I'm just laughing at myself. I mean, it's all marketing. What is he talking about? I mean, he's an army. He's a soldier in the Bitcoin army. In fact, he's not just a soldier. He's an officer, right? He's high ranking. He's one of the leaders of that army to constantly pump Bitcoin. And the biggest irony is he's claiming that Bitcoin doesn't have a marketing department on CNBC, which is a network that is basically dedicated to promoting Bitcoin. And I think that that's why they're not talking about gold. Because I remember, not too long ago, they talked about gold every day. I mean, they didn't, harp on it, but they mentioned it. Now they don't even mention it. It's like it doesn't even exist. When the price was going nowhere, when it was going down, yeah, they pointed that out. But now that it makes a new high every day, it's not even discussed. And so there's no way that could be accidental, right? It's not an oversight. They are purposely not talking about gold. Now, there could be several reasons why they don't want to talk about gold. I mean, one might be that the Bitcoin advertisers don't want the public to know that gold's actually going up now, because they might actually buy that instead of Bitcoin. So,
holy shit, CJ2 Pilot, you stay safe. Seriously, please be safe. That's some pretty scary stuff. XRPH, I have a link in the video description below, or pinned comments on this live at MEXC. That's where I buy it. If you're in the USA, though, and you don't have a VPN, you're not going to be able to use it. I only can right now until the end of July because I already had an account. But at the end of July, when they do a KYC, I won't be using MEXC at all. So yeah, that's how I'm taking advantage of it. So I'm going to have everything I want built up by the end of July. That's my point. I'm going to be building it up very nicely here. Very nicely here. Julie, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP, or the XRP 589 Moonbeds, my significant other there. Sean Crothers, welcome in, my main man from Maine. Thank you so much for being in here, Brun.
That's part of it. And, I saw a chart. This hadn't occurred to me until I saw it was tweeted out. And so I saw this chart of the Bitcoin price in gold. And I thought it was interesting. While Bitcoin made a new high in
just pay attention to what he's saying about gold. This is where it starts to get hot.
Dollars in this recent run. It got up to like 73,000. And I think the old high was around 69,000. So Bitcoin made a new high in dollars. It didn't make a new high in gold. And of course, it got crushed against gold today because it was down 1 or 2% and gold was up 1%. And so it's falling further below its high. But Bitcoin's price in terms of gold was in 2021. We didn't even take out that high in 2022. So we'll see. I mean, maybe Bitcoin is never going to make a new high in gold. That would be very interesting. But there could be another reason that CNBC and other financial analysts don't want to talk about gold. is because of the message that gold is sending. Because what gold is telling you, and gold is making new highs the way it is. And gold is not just some commodity. I mean, it is a commodity, but it's a special commodity. Right? So if, let's say...
This is the part that's very interesting. Drew, those smoke rings were for you, by the way, because I know you like how they look. I was curious to see how they would look on the air. It looks not too bad.
Pork bellies were making a new high every day. All right, I mean, I could forgive CNBC for not talking about it, right? I mean, it's just one commodity, right? I mean, it's not that significant. But gold is special because of the monetary properties and the monetary role that gold plays. I mean, if anything can be said to be the canary in the coal mine, it's gold. And so you've got this warning, and nobody is paying attention to the message, even reporting that the warning bell has been sounded. What is gold telling people if they're smart enough to listen? What gold is screaming is that what the Fed is contemplating is a mistake.
Remember what we've been talking about, inflation? Remember what happened with what Gregory Mannarino said? This is the piggyback moment. If you've been paying attention since the beginning, think about this. Thank you, my friend. I'll be looking out for that email.
That cutting interest rates, whenever these cuts begin, is the wrong policy. That interest rates are actually too low and they need to go up. But the Federal Reserve and the financial media are ignoring this warning. And the investors, I mean, you know, they are clueless, right? The warning is falling on deaf ears. And maybe one of the reasons is they don't even know that the warning's been sounded because the financial media is got radio silence on this stealth gold rally. And imagine, too, if the public knew that gold was going up and they had some inkling of why, they'd be buying, too. Imagine how much higher the price of gold would be right now if the American public was actually buying it. Or if they weren't selling it, which is what they have been doing. They've been liquidating. I think the liquidations now maybe have, you know, come to an end. I'm not sure. But for months and months, all year, they have been selling gold through the GLD. Meanwhile, this is one of the best years ever. I mean, maybe this is the best start to a year. I haven't researched it yet. But if it's not the best year ever, it's one of them, right? We're up, I don't know, we're up 14% or 15% this year in the price of gold. But that's with the public selling gold, right? Who's buying it? I mentioned it in previous podcasts. It's foreign central banks. They're the ones that are buying, and maybe other wiser individuals in Asia. That's why we have these big rallies overnight, and then we have sell-offs here in the United States. Anyway, I got a quick commercial break.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. I hope what you've learned tonight helps. Have a blessed evening, and I'll see everybody tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern.